Hello and welcome to DevPro's Computer Science and Game Design. In this, the Game Design curriculum, we will learn about game theory, game design, and along the way make a few stops to consider the workings of the video game industry and its history. Through video lectures, hands-on exercises, assessments, and more, we will dive into the fascinating world of video game design and development. The game design curriculum is divided into 4 arcs containing multiple related topics and modules. In Arc 1, Intro to Game Development, we look at the history of video games and the rise of technology and iconic game developers who have made the video game industry what it is today. From there, we examine some of the lexicon of developers and then dive into game theory as a primer for understanding how game designers think. Arc 2, Game Design Basics, we begin with the importance of documentation and quickly move on to discussions on mechanics, game structure, and level design. Arc 3, Implementing game design, will take us on to deeper levels of understanding game design as we apply common design theories, discuss visuals, and delve into characters and story. Finally, in Arc 4, we will look at some of industry matters such as careers in video games and intellectual property issues, leading to our capstone exercise project. What we are looking at now is the user interface of the lessons themselves. Let's examine the features. So at the top of a module page, we will always see these feature buttons. The first button at the top gives us access to the course menu to quickly navigate to any module or arc in the game design curriculum. The button marked 2 will return us to this module's arc landing page. Finally, we can instantly jump to the next or previous lesson in the curriculum with the button marked 3. Each module features a number of video lectures broken up into topics. Clicking on the playlist button, here marked with a 1, will open up a drop-down menu of all the topic videos in the module. Click on any video to play it. The video currently playing will be highlighted as number 2 demonstrates. Finally, number 3 highlights control panel to play the videos. Here, students can play or pause the video, skip ahead by sliding the bar, adjust the speed in which the video plays, adjust sound, and view it full screen. All of the video lessons are accompanied by reference text. Think of reference text as a supporting textbook to the material covered in the video lessons. Clicking the reference material button will access all the written text covering the entire module. At the end of the overview section, there's a listing of all the topics. Click on any topic in this list to instantly jump to that topic in the reference text. GameStack is a program where students will do hands-on game design exercises. For most modules, there will be a GameStack exercise tied to the core topics discussed in the videos and reference material. Each module will also have a written exercise pertaining to the entirety of all the topics. This exercise could be an essay or other written project that will be completed outside of this interface. You can access the index and glossary with these buttons. They will allow for a quick reference to a term, a definition, or offer guidance on a particular topic. Finally, skip ahead 1 tab on the tab bar or 1 tab back with these controls. This is another way to move from playlist to reference material and vice versa. Well, that is all you need to know to get started. In fact, you're already using this interface. So let's move forward to the next lesson.
Many of the modules in our game design course utilize the application GameStack. In this video, I'll give you a quick overview of how to get started in GameStack. Let's get familiar with GameStack by taking a look at the very first GameStack exercise at the end of the Section Introduction module. In the Section Introduction, click on the GameStack Exercise tab. You will see a big orange download button on the top right. Click that to download the GameStack game for this module. After you download and open the game, you will see a screen like this. You can see this module's game, Pong Pro, in the upper left, and then a bunch of other stuff below and to the right of it. Some of you may immediately be thinking, hey, that looks familiar. That looks like Scratch. And you would be right. Scratch is a program developed by the Lifelong Kindergarten group at the MIT Media Lab. It uses blocks of code and simple animations to make coding easy and fun, even for beginners. The nice folks at the MIT Media Lab licensed the Scratch code as open source, which means anyone is free to create their own new and cool stuff with the code. And that's exactly what we did. For those of you already familiar with Scratch, I'll show you the key differences between Scratch and GameStack in the next video. For those of you who have never used Scratch, don't worry. Knowing Scratch or any other programming language is not a requirement to be successful in our game design course. So, first, let's explore just what you need to know to get started on our first exercise. If I take a look at the Exercise tab, I see that the first thing it wants me to do is to play the Pong Pro game. Let's take a look at how to do that. The game window is here at the upper left. Now, I want to get a full screen experience for this game, so I'm going to click this blue icon in the top left to expand the gameplay window. At the top right of the window, I see a green flag, which starts the game, and a red octagon, which stops it. When I click the green flag, I still need to press the spacebar to begin the game. Let's play. In this game, the right paddle is controlled by the up and down arrow keys, and the blue paddle is controlled by the W and S keys. As each paddle scores a point, you can see that the game keeps track of the score at the top center of the screen. When I get tired playing the game, I can simply click the stop button and the game freezes. Let's minimize the window and take a look at what the exercise wants us to do with this game. It looks like the first thing that I'm going to do is to adjust the speed of the ball. It's telling me to go to the stage, and it's showing me an icon so that it's easy for me to find it in GameStack. The stage. I see it right here, but what is it for? Well, think about performing a play. All the action of the play takes place on the stage. It's the same in a video game. The stage refers to the background scene, where all gameplay will take place. Video game stages can get quite complex, but Pong Pro has a fairly simple stage. Let's click on it and check back with our instructions on what to do next. I can see that it's telling me that I need to look for Focus Area 1 and to change the ball speed variable from 7 to a different number. Let's take a look. I'm clicked on the stage, and here I can see Focus Area 1 over here in the Scripts tab. The Scripts tab is where the blocks of code go that control the stage. Focus areas are the black blocks of code that we have added to GameStack. They don't have any effect on the game. They are only there so that you have an easier time finding the right place in the code to make the changes for the exercise. So, this exercise told us to find Focus Area 1 and to change the ball speed. Here I can see that the ball speed is currently set to 7. I wonder what happens if I make it faster. What about doubling it to 14? To do that, I simply click on the 7 and type 14. I have now changed the code. Let's see what effect my code change has on the game. This time, since I want to do just a quick trial, I'm going to play the game in the small window rather than expanding it. I can click on the green flag to reset the game, and then spacebar to begin. Whoa, that was fast. Too fast for me. I don't think I'm quite ready for that ball speed. Next, I could keep experimenting with changing this ball speed variable, which is exactly what you will do in the exercise. One last thing before you are ready to jump into your first GameStack exercise. What if I make some changes and want to save them to show my teacher or friend? Well, simply go to File, Save As. Then, it's a really good idea to rename the game so that if you want to go back to the original version, you still have that file and don't have to re-download it. I'm going to save this game with my name and a description so that I can remember where to find it for later. I'm going to call it Emily _ DevPro Pong Pro _ Fastball. Well, that's everything you need to know to start your very first GameStack exercise. If you are a true beginner, I would recommend doing the exercise now while this is fresh in your mind, then watching the last video afterwards. If you already have some Scratch experience, you may be wondering, where is the rest of the code? I'll show you that and some unique GameStack features in the next video. Now that you've had a basic overview of GameStack, let's explore some of its unique features. In the last video, we explored the Game Player window and the stage. Let's take a look at some of the other features. Next to the stage, we have a window that contains sprites. No, not Sprite the soda. In computer graphics, a sprite is a 2D image or animation that is used as part of a larger scene. In this case, our sprites include our ball, paddles, and the numbers and text that appear on the screen. If we click on one of the sprites, say the left paddle, we can see some of the code controlling it. But wait, you say. There's no way that paddle is controlled by just 2 blocks of code. And you are absolutely right. Let me show you the first unique feature of GameStack. In the Edit menu, I can choose Toggle Template Sprites tab. And a new Templates tab appears in the Sprites window. We will explore sprite templates in much more detail in a later exercise. But for now, let's click on the template for the left paddle. Here, you can see some more code blocks in the scripts area. Don't worry, you don't need to know what any of this code means right now. But if you're the curious type, the code is always there for you to explore. Let's take a brief look at this GameStack code. The color coding on the blocks gives you some information about what that block is doing, even if you don't completely understand it. For example, in this top block of code, I can see from the brown color that it is an events block. It says, when I receive reset left paddle. The block is referring to an event referenced somewhere else in the code, having to do with resetting the left paddle. Then I have 2 purple looks blocks, go to front and show. Then a blue motion block gives a set of XY coordinates. So, even though I don't entirely understand what these blocks of code are saying, I can guess that when the event reset left paddle happens, the paddle will appear on the screen back in its original position of -215, 0. Does that seem to you like that still might not be all the code? Right, again. Another unique feature of GameStack is the Global tab. To show it, go to Edit, Toggle Global tab. The Global tab appears at the top of the screen. Click on it and, whoa, that is a lot of code. Even a seemingly simple game like Pong requires some pretty complex programming. In the beginning of our course, you'll be mostly changing 1 or 2 code blocks at a time on the Scripts tab. We also have some exercises exploring the Costumes tab, where you can create your own sprites, and the Sounds tab, where you can add and edit the sound effects in the game. Later on, we'll do some exercises in the Design tab. This is another unique GameStack feature. There's nothing there right now because you will actually build the elements that go on it. If all that seems like a lot to take in, don't worry. All our exercises come with very clear instructions and focus areas, so you know exactly what parts of the code to change. We'll have you make simple changes first, then build up to more complex changes by the end of the course. Most of our exercises, especially in the earlier modules, will have the sprites templates and global tabs hidden. But if you are already a Scratch expert, or if you are just looking for an extra challenge, feel free to toggle these tabs on and explore them. Remember, if you are playing around with the code and break the game, you can always just go back to the original download to start fresh. We always encourage you to push your own limits and explore and experiment as much as you like. Happy coding!